Efficient and effective transportation system is a key index to economic growth anywhere in the world. This is because transportation is an essential building block for sustainable development. It helps drive inclusive growth, provides access to public services and jobs, produce to markets, connects people and places, services to consumers, and promotes general trade. Furthermore, transportation empowers women, persons with disabilities, and other vulnerable groups to live a productive life and livelihood. In fact, sustainable transportation also enhances socio-cultural, political integration and interactions. Like most economic sectors in Nigeria, the transportation sector, be it rail, road, air, or even sea, is bedeviled by decaying infrastructures, no thanks to poor funding, planlessness, and other such malaise. Stakeholders share the view that the slow pace and stunted growth in the sector is not due to lack of effort, but down to having square pegs in round holes to manage the sector. They won't fit.
Poor management can actually be a hindrance to successful infrastructures as it relates to transportation, because some of the people that are employed are not actually qualified, and because they are not qualified, they cannot give what they don't have.
Governor Ifeanyi Okowa had promised he will do things differently on assumption of office as governor. So, in tandem with his promise, he did not leave any stone unturned, as land transportation, which is perhaps the commonest and easily accessible mode of transport by most people in Delta State, has not escaped his attention. He set out to revamp the sector. This is with the realization that solid investment in the sector through private-public partnership will provide Deltans access to premium, affordable, safe and comfortable transport services through intra- and intercity bus services.
Since it has been privatized, right now Delta Land is in position. No longer borrow money to pay staff. They are able to reflect, which is one of the basic things that a company of that nature is supposed to do. You must reflect, otherwise you go out of business. And that they have been able to do. It shows that the partnership with the private sector is working.
Government is very large, and there are enormous tasks on the shoulder of government. Government cannot do it all alone. And in most cases, professionals in certain areas should be engaged to carry out certain activities for and on behalf of the government, for the social welfare of the masses.
This line of thinking and business module birthed the signing of MOU between the state and management of God is Good Motors almost 2 years ago to drive the new business module and breathe new life into this moribund company. Government divested 60% interest shares in the state transport company, Delta Line, and retained 40%.
I'm excited. I want to thank Your Excellency for giving us the opportunity to show what we're made of. Our interest here basically is to help reposition Delta Line, use technology to drive its operations for better efficiency, effectiveness, introduce better safety management and customer service.
As a government, we are sworn to do the best in the interest of our people. And that is what is the driving force behind this move. Because on our own, we have understudied the Delta Line, and we believe that there is a need to add strength to it. We believe that we want to run a transport company as a government in such a manner that we can be proud of it.
Transportation development projects are capital intensive and also require long gestation periods before there are enough returns on investment to justify the huge investments made. To get the partnership underway just over a year ago, as part of its stake in the new alignment, brand new Peugeot buses were commissioned. This was what happened then.
I dedicate this to God and the people of Delta State. His Excellency is known as the Roadmaster. Now you can see he's putting something up the road too, for the benefit of all Deltans. This is going to be one of those things that will in future be seen as one of the pace setters of this government. This administration will continue to work with the private sector in order to develop Delta State.
At this point, we must appreciate the effort of the governor taking the bold step to engage a PPP arrangement for Delta Line to be what it be now.
Getting more buses, so you're going to create a lot of jobs for people. You're going to get more drivers, we're going to get more ticketers, we're going to get more customer service people. So this will create a lot more job for the people of Delta State, and it's going to also make the transport system of Delta State to become more viable, because like you see, the slogan is the pride of the South.
The governor is trying his best in all ramifications, not only in the transport industry. I will also thank him that at least he extend his hands of fellowship to transport. We are taking the drivers on training on how these buses can be well utilized in terms of safety and others. And these buses have all the safety gadgets.
Their drivers, who are also known as skippers within the organization, share their thoughts about the developments with Smart Delta.
Most of the data they would like to patronize the Delta Line. I thank the governor for a well-done job for both Delta State, for encouragement to make the youth and people of Delta know that yes, Delta Line is still existing, because people will say that Delta Line is not existing again, but seeing this today, people know that yes, Delta Line is still existing.
Are they happy very well when they bring the new bus come? So I want to thank the governor for what he do for Delta Line.
I am happy I get the job, because when I start up with them, everything is moving fine. They don't hold salary again, so everything is moving.
Effective road transportation is a major influencer on customer satisfaction, as timeliness of delivery is key to either success or failure in markets. The revamped Delta Line has indeed come to deliver these services and bridge the gap between the old ways of doing things and the new.
The administration of Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, in line with his smart way of doing things, examined the performance of Delta Line about 3 years ago, and then came to the conclusion that there was the need to do something different. And that conclusion bettered the MOU with the management of God is Good. Today, the Delta Line has been brought back to the path of profitability. They have been able to now generate more jobs for our people. Peace is much more guaranteed. And above all, the comfort of passengers who take advantage of this particular transport company is now much more guaranteed.
The 2019 Yuletide celebrations was typically characterized by heavy travels. Majority of travelers commuting intercity and intrastate have over time developed confidence in Delta Line for their journeys on account of safe, efficient and affordable services. Smart Delta Media team visited the transporters to find out how operations are carried out before travels. The place was a beehive of activities.
Drivers are advised not to drive when they are drunk. They want to be a successful driver, not to overspeed their vehicle. We want to appeal to them to take maintenance of their vehicle as important as their children at home and their wives. And even for those that doesn't professionalize driving, we want to advise them to be very careful on the road. Accident or crash is no respecter of anybody.
We discovered safety drills is a must for the drivers, also known as skippers, on daily basis before they embark on journeys. The exercise is carried out by men and officers of Federal Road Safety Commission (FRSC) to remind the drivers of best practices on the roads.
Get what they call early morning parade. And also I don't go.
Yes.
Check your water, check your oil, check lights, check tire.
Yes. It is who drives and get to his destination that is a professional driver. Those who hurried and stopped on the road are not professional drivers. So not only for their lives, for the lives of others.
Lecture given to us this morning, in fact, I was so quite impressed, because we are the people applying the road and we see what is happening every day. Personally to me, I was even planning that I will have my own lecture with my colleague, so that when you are applying the road, you apply wisdom.
In our typical tradition of bringing first-hand and factual reports to our audiences, Smart Delta sounded out some of the travelers to know why they chose the new improved Delta line. Take a listen to what they had to say.
All passengers going to Abuja 002.
Delta line has been the vehicle I use. I commute with the vehicle anytime I want to travel to any part of this Nigeria, because their services, I can attest, is very, very excellent, and we are very happy with what they are doing.
Now is better than before because the restructuring forward and the means of transportation, the fleet, maintenance, and the driving culture, they are all different compared to the former one.
Delta line drivers, they drive decently. This overspeed is not there. You relax, it's almost an option for flights.
I've lost count actually that I've used Delta line. My experience with them has been good. They take off right on time and you get to your destination safe and secure. Their buses are always clean and I haven't had any problems using Delta line. And I'll actually recommend Delta line to the public.
We also sounded out some of the skippers as well as management staff.
I have undergone safety trainings, defensive driving trainings, which has added to my experience. Even when God saves, I know 75% of accident on the way is controllable.
The Delta line of today is quite different from what it used to be. Now we have a better maintenance culture. We offer better services to Deltans and Nigerians.
Then people don't used to respect Delta line. They just feel, well, Delta line, no level, you know. But right now, when you talk about Delta line, it's like one of the most unique transport company in Delta State right now.
Following the phenomenal successes recorded by the partnership with dividends to show for it, the Delta State government was further motivated to keep alive its part of this strategic partnership. Almost 2 years down the line, 60 more brand new vehicles were added to the company's fleet to enable it deliver an even more effective and efficient land transportation service to the ever-demanding and critical enlightened Delta travelers nationwide.
Smart Delta.
You better run, come to Delta State. Come and see the good things where Okowa they do. You better run, come to Delta State. Come and see the good things where Okowa they do. I see your job and work creation in Delta make the youth say them higher. Okowa. I see good roads everywhere in Delta make the people say them cola.
Chidi Ajaire, MD CEO, God is Good Motors, GIGM, while thanking Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa and Delta State government for creating the right environment for businesses to thrive, expressed his delight to be part of the journey that resuscitated the once moribund company.
GTDC is proud to be part of this rebuilding journey. The statistics speaks for itself. From committing over 70 million monthly to subsidize the operations of this once ailing company, it is significant to note that Delta Line in just 18 months has been able to drive its operations without any level of subventions from the state government.
It is an incontrovertible fact that funds freed and saved by this strategic partnership have been channeled into other areas beneficial to Deltans.
The partnership has also, within the period under review, offset the debt burden borne by the moribund organization, thereby removing all hurdles that had held down the company. It is indeed a new lease of life for Delta Line.
Chidi wasn't done as he laid bare the growth so recorded within the period.
The most significant development of the last 18 months is the growth witnessed by the organization in the area of fleet size, from a paltry 30 operational buses, most of which were in bad condition. We are happy to announce that Delta Line now has in its fleet over 200 modern buses bearing world-class entertainment platforms for the comfort and convenience of passengers.
The God is Good Motors chief executive did not fail to mention the job and wealth creation component of this partnership, which according to him, in less than 2 years, have witnessed over 50% increase in the number of persons gainfully employed by Delta Transport Services Limited, most of whom are Deltans. More so, it is projected that the number of employees will more than double by year 2020. Senator Dr. Arthur Ifanyokoa, obviously pleased with the facts and figures before him, explained that before the partnership, it was bad business for government to always bail out the company, and that PPP was the way to get it right.
We are scaling up to very great heights, and I believe that our people today should be proud of this partnership. And I want to urge that our people, both those in the public service and other Deltans, must continue to trust us to take the right decisions.
Senator Kowa already has his eyes on the future with regards to his expectation of growth.
I hope and pray that this transport service will continue to grow from strength to strength to such an extent that we will, in the near future, be within the first 3 transport services all over the nation.
Senator Dr. Arthur Ifanyokoa had the privilege of being the first passenger to ride on one of the new buses, and Smart Delta asked him what it felt like. Take a listen.
I thank God for the comfort of the vehicles and for what is going on. I believe that everybody deserves to ride on a comfortable vehicle, and that is at least what the Delta Transport Service Limited is presenting to the people. And I think it's a very, very noble idea. It shows very clearly to the doubting Thomases that partnership works. And exactly this has worked for us as a state, and we give God glory for that.
We were not done, as we also sounded out some of the skippers as well as others who witnessed happenings of the day.
As you can see, we are the pride of the SAT. We are glowing everywhere and we are doing better. When you see our vehicles on the way, you know that truly Delta Line is proud of the SAT.
We thank God for now that the government has taken over, because you can see a lot of changes here. Vehicles are now coming in, and the management, of course, they are doing well. It has created a lot of jobs.
Before, we normally go across the Niger and bought buses to anywhere we are going to, but for today, we thank God, we can take transport now to anywhere we are going to our destination. We thank God for our roadmaster. He's doing a good work.
The various departments in Delta Line work tirelessly to achieve productivity, boost employee morale and competitiveness in transport business. The staffers are proud to be part of the rejuvenated Delta Line service.
The reason we are using scanner here is to make sure nobody comes with an exhibit. As the passenger, before you enter inside the vehicle, we have to scan you to know, yes, what is in your pocket, so that you will not come inside the vehicle with something we could not able to expect. Maybe something might happen on the road.
We have the COO that controls all departments, and we have finance department, we have our customer service that relates to our guests in the bus for complaints. Then we have our courier service that delivers optimum courier services. We have our mechanical department, our engineers, electricians, we have panel beaters, and we work together to move day-to-day services forward.
I'm happy working with Delta Line as a ticketer, because it's the joy, you meet different kind of people, and with this job, you make you to learn many other things about this life. You know, different individuals, how to handle people. You study them, so when they come to you, you know how to handle them. People are happy. The customers, when they come here, they look at, even on their own, they will tell you, the new Delta Line.
One of the reasons the new Delta Line stood out among its competitors is the safety and maintenance culture of the company. Regular maintenance of its fleet is never compromised for optimal performance. This, to a large extent, maintains the integrity of the vehicles. The company has a well-equipped maintenance workshop and qualified mechanics to handle all its maintenance and repairs.
What we do here is preventive maintenance.
to make sure that the vehicle does not leave here and get to Warre or any other nearby place and broke down. So that is why we have a qualified mechanics and the engineer to make sure they checked. Then as they are doing it, the driver can just complain that it's a brake pad. But along the line, maybe you find out that the wheel bearing is also bad. That's what we mean by preventive maintenance.
In Delta Transport Service, we carry many operations. We do servicing, changing of brake pad so that the motor will not go and break down on the way. We run shift here against the motor that will be coming from far. They are not even expected like this. So I so much thank Governor Okowa for a new development.
There are other auxiliary services it does, like courier service.
We have our courier services here in which they give the best delivery. They do parcel goods from here, either courier or other parcel services to every other state in Nigeria with 100% guarantee.
The services are much better than before. We have been trained and you can see we are on uniform. We didn't have this uniform before. Customers now have access to us. Governor Okowa has kept to his promise by making transportation much easier for Deltans.
The governor, Okowa, actually proven to us that Delta Line is the pride of the South. We're going to beat every other transport service in Delta State.
There is no doubt that Governor Ifeanyi Okowa's administration is passionate about its people and would stop at nothing to bring the best to them. He is demonstrating good organizational skills, political will, and sincerity of purpose.
Governor Okowa is a gentleman. He's a man who is diligent in the business of governance. He has the capacity, and the wherewithal to revamp every other sector of the economy that is needed to be upgraded.
With all the facts about the PPP pointing in the right direction that it was a good business model, Smart Delta Media was bent on leaving no stones unturned in getting more facts. Our insatiable drive for credible information landed us at the law firm of Barrister Ewere Odiase.
We find that in Delta State there is a new drive towards public-private partnership, especially in the transportation sector. The Delta State Transport Service has a good story to tell, and the citizens of Delta State have a good story to tell. We should even begin to know that this is a new light, a new dawn for the transportation sector in Delta State.
Odiase told us that government was on course adopting the PPP business module entered into with GIGM, a major transport concern. This is more so as government is not known to run businesses successfully. Also, it was in line with the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission (ICRC), the body saddled with interfacing between government and private concerns to affirm PPP legalities.
One thing that is special about Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa is that he has introduced the private sector drive into governance. And it will be an understatement for us to say that he is performing. Indeed, he is performing overwhelmingly, and I commend him.
With the positive strides the PPP is making, operators of the module are of the firm belief that Delta Transport Service Limited would fully return to profitability and return value to all stakeholders by the last quarter of 2021 at the very latest.
Governor Okowa's innovation is amazing. He has a finishing touch in everything. I'm impressed because it's been a while since I got to this place. I'm surprised to see the level of passengers, the way people are trooping in. Delta Line has practically taken over the transport industry around this environment. I've been hearing it on social media, but I'm here to experience it practically.
We thank Governor Okowa for the good work he's doing for us in Delta State, because hardly you see this kind of a thing. It's part of the nation. Anywhere we go, part of the nation, part of the nation. So we are commending Governor Okowa for that. He's a good governor to us. May God bless him.
The transparency that characterized the commissioning process has further shown Governor Ifeanyi Okowa's commitment to the overall integrity of the governance process in Delta State. This, of course, is in line with his avowed commitment to building a stronger and more prosperous Delta State.
Delta Line, pride of the South! Come to Delta State, come and see the good things where Okowa they do you better. Run, come to Delta State, come and see the good things where Okowa they do. I see your job and work creation in Delta, make the youth say them higher. Okowa, I see good roads everywhere in Delta, make the people say them cola. Come live in Delta, say me I say, come invest in Delta. Come explore the potentials of our state.